Okay, let's get into some specifics here. You mentioned offensive line already, Gil. And we know for a couple of years that has been their Achilles heel on the offensive side of the football. They've invested into that position, obviously, to keep Justin Herbert upright. In your opinion, you mentioned the cohesive part, or kind of like they're trying to get there, but how much better do you expect them to be at least this year? Because you seen what they did in preseason training camp, but how much better just overall as the year goes along do you expect them to be this year?
Yeah, a year ago, a lot of people pointed the finger at the coaching staff, Anthony Lynn, and there is some blame there because they lost a lot of close games. I think they lost, 7 of their first 9 games. They lost games by one possession. They're always in these one-score games, or they're missing a field goal, or they're giving up a big third down in 2-minute drill. So when it comes to close games, this team has been one of the worst teams. I mean, worse in the NFL when it comes to situational football in the fourth quarter when the game's on the line. The last 2 years, they've probably been the worst. I probably don't even need stats to kind of figure out how bad they've been. But they let go the head coach. And it could be a debate there because Anthony Lynn did a great job with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had probably the best rookie year of all time for a quarterback. So it's kind of weird that he got let go for that. But you really think about it, it was kind of a predictable offense. He was running the ball a lot. And as we know in today's NFL, you want to pass that ball pretty often. And when you have a guy like Justin Herbert who has a strong arm, very smart, can read defenses, you want to push that thing down the field. Now the question mark with Brandon Staley is, he's very creative, very innovative. He had a great year with the Rams. Like he turned that unit into the top defensive unit. Yeah, he had Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but everything he's done, he's very creative, innovative, ahead of the trend. And I think that's where the Chargers hired him. But the thing about that is that he's never been a head coach of the NFL. We've never seen this guy lead an entire franchise, special teams, defense, and offense. So I can't really tell. But just being around the guy, he's very smart. Like I feel like anytime he enters a room, he probably knows the most football from anybody. Because this guy is just, he's a walking encyclopedia when it comes to football. They last like 30 minutes, man. We can't get Brandon Staley off the podium because he's dropping knowledge. He's not afraid to share some schemes and X and O's. And I'm learning something every day. I'm going back to my recorder like, oh, I missed that. Wow, that's pretty good, because it's hard to keep my attention span for 30 minutes every time he's talking. So you would think coaching, they'll be better. And then Justin Herbert, year 2. I know people say that when you change the coaching staff and you're a young quarterback, you take a step back. But this guy, Justin Herbert, man, like we saw at Oregon, he was a 4.0 GPA student. And what he did last year as a backup quarterback without any starter reps in a pandemic, in a short offseason, to take the Chiefs to overtime and with 1 minute notice, and then kind of, keep that up for the rest of the year. He didn't have really much of an offseason to learn the scheme. So, and he had 3 head coaches at Oregon to learn how to, do well in a new scheme. So I think when it comes to new schemes and new coaches that Justin Herbert has shown time and time again that he's able to adjust. So I think overall, from looking at the coaching staff and Herbert, I think the team should be better. But that's we got to play the games though. But I really think that, at least for now, they look better than they did a year ago.
On the Justin Herbert topic, you shared a lot just now. Now, obviously, I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, but we know how good he can be. I felt like he was a top 10 quarterback last year, production wise. I would ask you, at least for week 1 here, what do you think some challenges that's going to be in the face of Justin Herbert? What are some challenges that you think he'll be coming across as he faces up against the Washington football team?
Yeah, I'll go back to the new scheme. I know he's very smart and he could catch on very quickly, but it's going to be a pretty complicated scheme with different personnel groupings. He's going to have 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, empty sets, multiple running backs. Anything you could think of for type of grouping, he's going to throw. They're going to ask him to put it out there and do it at a fast pace. If you look at the clock on Sunday, they're going to be running these plays pretty quick. It won't be a no huddle situation because they want you to kind of figure out who's going to be on the field at the same time. So if Herbert's struggling to kind of figure out where people are supposed to be lined up, which personnel is going to be going, and how fast the tempo is going to be, that could be an issue on Sunday. Maybe he'll figure it out by week 2, but that first game, that tempo is going to be a problem for Herbert. And on the flip side, from something from a year ago that he kind of struggled with was defenses that disguise the coverages pretty well. That make you guess, this is a blitz, or are they gonna, stay back and defend? And Herbert struggled against the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Bills. Teams in the AFC East for some reason had his numbers. So if Washington's looking at that tape from a year ago, I know Washington's kind of struggling in the secondary, but if they're bringing pressure and they're disguising it pretty well, that could be a problem as well for Justin Herbert.
Whole hard in the trenches, ask a nigga what he benching, triple digits, nigga, don't forget to mention. Whole hard in the trenches, ask a nigga.